Hello there in internet land. This is episode 31 of the Stop the Damn Match Wrestling Podcast, your mum's favourite wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Seated to my left is not JB because he's away at fucking work. Instead, we've got the return of the man, the banker for the world's terrorist. It's Lachif.
Fuck you!
Lachif, how you going, Lachif?
Great, guys. How's it going?
Good. Nice to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Sweet. And seated to my right is the professor, the man himself, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. What you see is what you don't. What you see is what you get. What you don't is better yet. It's Dr. Seamus. Seamus, how you going, brother?
That's one hell of an introduction. Not too bad.
Yeah, I've been working on these because I usually come up with really crappy ones for the F1 podcast that we do. So I thought I've got two new people. Well, two people that aren't usually stuck doing this with me. So I thought I'd just zhuzh it up a little bit. Right, so we just finished watching SummerSlam, WWE Summerslam 2024 from Cleveland, Ohio. That was quite a show, eh?
It definitely was. Definitely a good SummerSlam this year.
And I'm really liking the fact that WWE is keeping their pay-per-views to 4 hours instead of it being 7-hour extravaganzas. See, AEW, you can learn lessons. I can learn lessons too, like putting my phone on mute so it doesn't come through the damn microphone. Professionalism here. Right, so we're going to start off. The first match was for the women's world title between the champion Liv Morgan and the challenger, the returning Rhea Ripley, accompanied to the ring by Dirty Dom. Oh, wait, he showed up about halfway through the match. So Dirty Dom, yes. Going to keep it kind of simple with these notes so we're not dragging on for hours. At one point, Rhea Ripley dislocated her shoulder and tried to wrestle with it, but then eventually rammed it into the commentary desk to put it back in, and then popped it back out again, and then put it back in again. Rhea Ripley hit the riptide, but she wanted blood, so she went for the chair. Dirty Dom grabs the chair, which causes a distraction. Eventually, Liv Morgan hits Oblivion, but Rhea Ripley kicks out. Dirty Dom throws the chair in, and Liv Morgan, hits the Oblivion again on Rhea Ripley onto the chair. Liv Morgan gets the pinfall and the win. And then straight after the match, Dirty Dom is making out with Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley is a jilted mummy. Right, so we'll start with you, Shay. What did you think of the match?
I quite enjoyed it. It was a good opener. Both Rhea and Liv can go pretty well. They're good chemistry, and the storyline actually made sense. It's been one of the longer storylines at the moment that's been going on. And Dom being the flipping back to being a heel again after being kind of a betweener with Rhea. And Rhea doing a full babyface turn is a good choice.
What would you give it out of 5?
I give it a 4 because the story is pretty good. Actual wrestling itself, there's nothing too out of the ordinary there, but it was nice. The dislocation thing didn't need to happen. I mean, it looked pretty nasty, but I think that's just either because she's double jointed or she just can pop it in and out on the fly. It didn't really need to be there, to be honest, because Rhea's just a tough bitch anyway. You don't need to kind of make that obvious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chief, what are your thoughts?
For an opening match, it was pretty good. I quite enjoyed it. For a casual wrestling watcher. The finisher was always good to see a love triangle go sour. It's always very entertaining to see what's going to happen in the near future about that sort of stuff. I agree with Shay in terms of wrestling. It was good to warm up to, like get you ready for SummerSlam, and the crowd seemed to be really into it, which is always a good sign for an opening card match. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Score it a 5?
Definitely a 4. I was a 4 4-star match.
Well, I gave it a 3.5. My thoughts was Liv Morgan is getting some real mega heat, particularly at the start of the match, how she was like avoiding Rhea Ripley and playing run around the ring a lot. I was getting a lot of heat, and now that she's with Dirty Dom, they're both going to be like the biggest heat magnets with the crowd going. Told an interesting story, and it did have a predictable ending, though, where you knew Liv Morgan was going to retain. There was no way they were going to put the belt back on Rhea Ripley, because they've got to build up the chase. But you also kind of knew that Dirty Dom was going to swap sides after how Mummy had been treating him since she returned. But overall, like, it was a solid in-ring match. The dislocation spot worked the first time. The second time, it was just like, yeah, we've played this game. Like, you know, we don't really need to see this. It's kind of like playing a wrestling game and just hitting the same move over and over again. Like, it's predictable. But no, it was a great way to start SummerSlam, and got the crowd hot. So I gave it 3.5. The next match on the card was for the Intercontinental Championship between Sami Zayn and Bron Breakker. And Bron was hitting the ring hard. Like, he was hitting Sami Zayn hard. He was hitting the ropes hard. You know, he's really kicking the shit out of everything in WWE. Eventually, he hit a top rope Frankensteiner, which was wow. Like, that was a phenomenal move. And he made it look effortless. I think Sammy only got a couple of moves in. Like, he countered the Steiner dog into the Blue Thunder Bomb. But eventually, Braun hit a spear that honestly looked very equivalent of something Goldberg would do. And Braun gets the pinfall and is the new Intercontinental Champion. So we'll start with you, Chief. What do you reckon?
I've never heard of Bron before, so this was my first time watching him in a match. It was quite... yeah, I agree with you. He was a very heavy hitter in terms of his movesets. It was a very short match in comparison to the first one. Yeah, it was not a lot of strings attached, I suppose, if we want to call it that. Straight to the punch, and I think probably very deserving of the win. Knock out the Canadian dad, Sami Zayn, and yeah, it was pretty good. I don't rate it as high as the first match. I was going to say 3.5, but that said, it was still a really good match to watch. Like, I'm very interested to see what matches and what things that Bron can actually do going forward.
So you're going to give it 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5.
3.5. Shay?
I quite enjoy this match. Bron is ridiculous in the ring. Absolutely incredible, like, agility, power. Takes it from his father and his uncle, I suppose, who were actually watching the match, which is cool. This is a reaction posted on Reddit or Twitter as well, with Scott and Rick's reactions to him winning the title, which is cool. But yeah, just fast, hard hitting. Sammy didn't get much offense in, which was a bit of a shame because Sammy can go in the ring, but he shines really when he's the underdog, not when he's the champion. He doesn't need to become a champion. He needs the chase to become champion, win it, and then drop it to someone else later. He can't. His story and the way that he presents himself doesn't really work when he's the champion defending, unless that's someone like that's trying to re-challenge, like Gunter or something like that. That's the only thing that really irks me about Sammy, is he's built himself to be that underdog, permanent underdog. So like Rey Mysterio. Exactly the same boat as that. But yeah, I quite enjoy the match. Bron, I'm happy they put the strap on him, and hopefully he keeps it for quite a while because he is a very good powerhouse champion. Sort of reminds me of Gunter, actually. Very, very good, powerful, holds himself in high regard, very intense. I quite enjoyed it. I'll give it a 4.
Well, I gave it a 3. Again, like we've all said, like, Bron Breakker is a hard-hitting guy. The match felt like a Goldberg match, but like Goldberg in his prime. Like, it was a lot of offense. It wasn't a long match. It played to the strengths. In, out, over and done with. I was surprised by how little offense Sami Zayn got in there, and I think that's why I took points away from it, because it just seemed like it was a complete steamrolling Goldberg one-off, in, out. So I gave it a 3. That's congratulations, Braun Breaker. He has a talent. I just hope he can develop a longer match over time and not be pigeonholed into being the next Goldberg. But that's my thoughts. The next match is the United States Championship match between Logan Paul and LA Knight. It was a massive brawl before the bell rang, which that was a bit of a different. Logan Paul hits a massive moonsault from the top rope all the way onto the floor on LA Knight. That was an epic moment. Logan Paul eventually got a pair of brass knucks from Machine Gun Kelly, who was there with his posse. But LA Knight kicked out after he got punched in the face with them. There was also LA Knight hit a really huge top rope muscle buster. It looked like Logan Paul just didn't extend for the superplex and it turned into a muscle buster, but it was still cool. And eventually, Logan Paul went for the buckshot lariat, but LA Knight countered it into the BFT and won and is your new United States champion. So my thoughts on the match, I gave it a 4. For me, I think that might have been close to match of the night. It was a solid match. It didn't have as many of Logan Paul's mates interfering in the match, which I thought was finally a plus, because every other one of his matches he's had an idiot dressed up as a Prime bottle, or an idiot doing this, or an idiot doing that. And the idiots sort of were kept at a down level so that the actual in-ring match could tell a story. And it had really a couple of amazing moments in it. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. We'll give it to Shay, purely because he's fucking about on his phone. So he's not fucking about on his phone. I'm just being
researching. I've said it time and time again with Logan Paul. I hate the guy as a person, but I like the fact that he respects the business and he's actually quite good and quite athletic in the ring. That moonsault was very nice and did it safely. Nearly landed on his feet, which is impressive. Every time I see him get in the ring, he gets better and better. And it was good to see that he works really well with LA Knight. Even right from the start with LA Knight smashing up his car, or his car window. And seeing Machine Gun Kelly there was kind of weird, but sure. It brings in that external kind of celebrity interest, which gets people that aren't into wrestling, which is always good for the company. And that's one of the reasons why they put the belt in him and kept it on him for so long, is because he gets that recognition from the millions and millions of people. That, and I was half expecting when the hooded guy that brought off the hood, that to be his brother. I was half expecting it to be him. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they do have like a tag team match sometime, which should be kind of cool to see in the ring. They're quite popular and they're all infamous. Is probably the best word, not popular. Notorious. But it was very entertaining. LA Knight's fucking still over as fuck, and I'm happy they finally put a title on him. He deserves it. Probably deserves maybe a world title more than the US title, but hey, a start's a start. But all in all, very happy with that. It's a running theme. I'm also giving this one a 4. It was quite good. Been quite a good pay-per-view.
Chief?
The warm-up to this match, how they were showing the video highlights of in the past, it just seems like they're trying to one-up each other on social media, like who's the bigger badass. Like, It seemed very interesting how they were warming up into the whole match with the feud. The match itself was really good. The whole pre-fight, before the fight, was quite long in terms of pre-fight matches before the bell rang, and a lot of the athleticism was in there as well. I agree with what you and Shay were saying as well. Easily one of the top 3 matches for me for watching this pay-per-view, and LA Knight is always really entertaining to watch, really good.
Yeah.
So for me, this was a 4-star match, only because I don't want to give it a 4.5 because I don't want to close my options off.
Gotta keep your options open.
Keep my options open, but it was easily one of the top 3 matches of the night. Very good mid-level card match.
Awesome. So, look, I'm going to be straight out of the gate with this one. This was probably the worst match on the card all night. It's the WWE Women's Championship match between Bayley and Nia Jax. Bayley hit, at some point she hit the belly to Bayley, but Nia Jax kicked out. Nia hit the Annihilator, but Bayley kicked out. Woo! Bayley hit a power bomb out of the corner, which that actually woke the crowd up because the crowd just could not give 2 shit nuggets about this match.
What, because they thought it was an earthquake?
I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a word. You said that, not me. Eventually, Tiffany Stratton came down looking like she was going to cash in Money in the Bank, but Bayley decked her before she could hand over the briefcase. It was a massive botch where Bayley tried to do a roll-up and just couldn't get Nia Jax to lift her fucking legs. That was appalling. Nia Jax hit 2 power bombs, 2 annihilators, and Nia Jax is your new WWE Women's Champion.
Maybe they should have asked for Scott Steiner's input on that.
Well, we don't have Scott Steiner, so we're going to have to ask you first.
You can look up his past interviews to know what his opinions of those people are. Anyway.
Fat asses. Can't run away because you got fat asses.
I agree with Phil here. This was the least interesting match of the night. It was, to be honest, was paying more attention to my phone than I was to this match because it was just a bore. It was a piss break for anyone or a food break. Like, there wasn't much here. They try to make a good storyline out of it with Bayley and Nia, but it's been the same problem with Nia even before she came back. She's just got no charisma whatsoever. No one can connect with her. She doesn't connect with anyone else. She always acts like she's entitled, like she's the best person in the world with a heel. Then they try to turn her face, and nobody gives a fuck still. Nobody at all. Bayley, at least, she has her good points, but she's been relatively quiet at the moment, and nobody can connect with that. Bring back her, wavy inflatable people. At least she connected with kids that way, At the moment, she's just got nothing. When she was a heel, sure, that role model kind of idealio thing that she has worked. But at the moment, it's just nothing. It's just boring. The whole thing was boring. I'd give it a 1 star. It was fucking shit.
Well, Chief, hopefully yours is a little bit more cheery.
I have to agree. It wasn't exactly the best match on the card. It was probably the worst match, of my opinion, on the card. Bayley matches are usually pretty good. Nia Jax, and I agree with Shay on this one, whether she needs to do some more developmental stuff to improve her standing with the crowd or something like that, because the crowd was non-existent.
They tried that.
They try. Okay, well, fair enough. I've got nothing then because I'm not a wrestling guy or in the field. But it was no crowds popped at all. I was very surprised with Bayley's strength to be able to pick up Nia Jax on her shoulders, no less, and drop her to the floor. That is a very strong woman who can do that. So a very good athleticism on Bayley's part there. Look, I don't want to slam this match into the ground, but this was easily a 1.5 to 2 star match. It wasn't great. It wasn't you had great match, really good match, and then you got something that sinks into the toilet for the midway through the show, which was really disappointing because as opposed to having solid matches all the way through. I mean, you can't have it all the time. I understand that, but very disappointing to say the least.
Gotta have your piss break sometime.
Yeah, true that.
Well, I gave it a 1.5 star. Here's my exact notes, how I've written them, okay? I'm not even going to change wording here. First point, dead crowd. Second point, boring match. Third point, only a couple of good spots. Fourth, ends Bayley's boring title run with a new dull champ. That's just talking about the match, because now I'm going to go on a little bit of a tirade here. Since Bayley won the belt at WrestleMania, who gives a shit? That's her title reign. Who cares?
I mean, even before that, when what's her name had it?
Io Sky.
Io had it. Nobody gave a shit back then. Like maybe when she first won it, but other than that, it just dropped off relevancy.
Because the whole focus has been on Rhea Ripley over on Raw.
Yeah.
You know, and then you've got Nia Jax, who frankly does not deserve to be in a wrestling ring. That match that she had with Rhea Ripley in Perth was probably the best match that she could have ever cobbled together. And even then, and I copped some flack from our satellite poster Beck, who said that it was an amazing match and da-da-da-da-da. It was only an amazing match because Rhea Ripley made it an amazing match.
Yep.
If it was anyone else, it would have been a steaming fucking turd, because Nia Jax can't wrestle. She's dangerous in the ring. I'm amazed she didn't hurt Bayley. She's just... There's nothing appealing about her. And then she tries to cut a promo, and she sounds like a gay guy. Yes, I'm Nia Jax, and I'm going to cut a promo today. And I'm going to be the next women's champion. It's like, shut your fucking dick licker, for Christ's sake. I'm not trying to pick on her because of her weight. I'm just picking on her because she just sounds like a cross-dressing drag queen when she opens up her yabba. You know, like, I've sat there and said Bianca Belair, when she starts talking, sounds like Kathy Freeman. Because it just sounds like she's stringing words together that make random noises.
Sounds like Rikishi. I did it for The Rock.
At least he had some charisma. Nia Jax has no charisma. She is just there. I mean, surely to Christ, Alexa Bliss can come back soon, because Jesus Christ, that SmackDown locker room needs some help.
As a barn burner. Nia Jax versus Omos.
Oh. I mean, if it was up to me, if it was a choice between keeping Tamina or letting go of Nia Jax, I'll let go of Nia Jax and keep Tamina.
Why not let go of them both?
Yeah, why not both? Well, Tamina is gone.
Yeah.
You know, like, just who is on the SmackDown women's roster? Because you got Naomi, Tiffy.
She's probably one of the most interesting on SmackDown. Is what
Bayley,
the chick that's with Otis.
Maxine Dupree.
Are they Raw or SmackDown?
They're Raw.
Oh, they're Raw.
So you got Naomi, Tiffy, Nia Jax, Bayley, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Naomi.
Is Jade injured at the moment?
No, they were on the pre-show. No, they were on SmackDown. Her and Bianca took on Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
The
women's tag titles.
The fact that...
Oh, and they got Blair Davenport, and they're not doing anything with her.
The fact that they have Jade fucking Cargill, and they let her... She was in the last Money in the Bank, and then they've done nothing with her after that. What the fuck? Put her in SummerSlam. Give her a match there.
Well, the reason being is because everyone is saying backstage that she is still green as fucking baby shit.
She's over as fuck, though.
Yeah, but I think she should have done with time in NXT. Honestly. But, I mean, you've got Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport doing nothing. Nothing. And they've fully stacked the Raw women's roster with, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Maxine Dupree, who is actually getting better more than Jade Cargill.
Yep.
Who else is on the women's roster on Raw? You've got Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, the other part that's in that lesbian trio.
Nikki Cross,
who's in the White Six.
which she should be in action next week, if I'm not mistaken.
You've got Damage Control.
Yep.
Like, the Raw roster is stacked. And there's no one on SmackDown. It's starting to look like when they had the Divas title. That stupid butterfly belt bullshit thing. Like, come on. I mean, I know we don't have Charlotte Flair until next year. Becky Lynch left. Mercedes Moné's gone to AEW to accomplish fuck all, other than announce that she's getting a divorce. Oh, Jesus Christ, guys.
And they lost fucking Ronda as well.
Yeah, that's no sad loss, though. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it was better than nothing, though, you know.
You know, and they got Lyra Valkyria.
Mm.
Like, some of them have got to go over SmackDown.
And quite a few women's talent in NXT as well.
Yeah.
And I think they're just waiting for a few contracts to end in AEW to come over back to WWE. Like, there is quite a number of female superstars that'll probably come back. Ember Moon, big name right there.
Well, if you were WWE and you were headhunting AEW women's talent,
Ember Moon's on my top of my list there.
You know who I'd headhunt? Jamie Hayter.
Yep,
and
Jamie.
Seeing that she's just been suspended by AEW, I'd
Britt
be
Baker.
trying to get Britt Baker. She's not anything special in the ring, but...
And she just broke up with her husband. Or rumoured to. That's why you haven't seen or heard anything from
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole at the moment, because he moved recently
By
himself. So I don't think those two are together anymore.
That means that Adam Cole might come back to WWE.
Maybe. But he's got his friends in Undisputed Era back on AEW now, so maybe not.
Well, not Bobby Fish. He's in TNA, I think.
Not Fish, but everyone else is there.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Kyle and,
but I'm sure if Trips broke out the checkbook, he could get the three of them. I don't think we really need Roderick Strong.
Nah.
But you get the three of them, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole. Bring them back to WWE and recreate the NWO Shield thing with the Undisputed Era on the main roster. Just have them come in and just start taking everyone out. That's how you bring them back into it. But the women's roster, I'll break out the cash and try and bring Toni Storm back.
I don't think she will. She's way too popular right now in AEW. Yeah. Like, she is the most over female over there right now. She is doing incredibly well for herself with that timeless gimmick that she's got right now.
Yeah. But, I mean, Jamie Hayter, she's fantastic. Britt Baker would be a really great name draw.
Britt Baker's fucking amazing in the ring, too.
And, I mean, obviously from TNA, once her contract's up, throw cash at Jordan Grace.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. But, the SmackDown women's roster is thinner than my hair.
Thinner than my hair?
You were younger than me.
And frankly, that's saying something, lads.
Shut up, full head of hair over there.
No, but honestly, though, if I can say something about the women's roster, having watched just pay-per-views in the last couple of years, over many 10 years it is since I've started doing this, it has been a serious change in the last number of years, and the women's matches are becoming more and more solid.
Yeah.
They're definitely really good, solid matches, very entertaining, really storyline driven. So they are doing a lot of improvements and with a lot of female talent, and it didn't seem like that was the case many, many years ago. It was just, it's a women's match, or whatever.
Yeah, piss break.
Essentially, this is just a throwback to nearly 5 to 6 years ago.
Yeah.
What I think a lot of it has to do with is Steph stepping back from the company, because she advocated and actually had a lot to do with the female division. the women's division. She was one of the masterminds behind that Evolution pay-per-view they had, which was quite a big success. The all-female pay-per-view that they had. And the big women's revolution thing that started, changing it from the Divas title to the women's title and actually made them relevant again, essentially. That was her, Becky, Charlotte, Paige.
Yep.
AJ Lee at the time.
Yep.
Those girls, and even as much as I hate to say it, even as much as I hate to say it, the Bella Twins, they did have a bit to do with it. I know. But they were integral in being the heels then. Not in the ring, because they were fucking garbage in the ring, but hey, at least people hated them on the mic. Bring the Iconics back. Throw money at them if they haven't... Oh no, one of them got pregnant, the other one's doing modelling, never mind. Fuck.
I'm sure if they threw money at them, they'd come back.
One of them's as a baby.
They both got kids.
Yeah, one of them just recently had a baby though.
Yeah. Yeah, because Peyton Royce had a kid a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Because she's the one who's married to Sean Spears.
Yep. 10.
Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, yes.
He's back in WWE too, apparently.
Yeah, he's in NXT.
Yeah.
And Billie Kay just had a kid about a month ago. So they both got kids.
One of them's
right?
modelling, I think.
Well, who cares? Get back in the ring. We want more Australians on the roster.
We got 3?
Yeah, if I was them, I'd throw cash at Paige. But I think that their medical policy is a little bit more stringent than AEW's.
They won't touch it because of that. Yeah, that's too much of a risk on them being held responsible.
And as far as Mercedes Moné is concerned, she can fuck right off.
Yeah, don't touch it with the 10-foot pole.
I never thought much of her to begin with. Sorry, Beck, I know that upsets you, but she is fucking boring.
Yeah, she always thinks too highly of herself. And just...
Yeah, look, we know you're fucking Snoop Dogg's cousin. Whoop-de-doo.
She was okay in the ring, don't get me wrong. She was better than a lot in the ring, but she's just has as much charisma as the fucking wall that I'm looking at.
Look, honestly, I think the wall has got more charisma because it's got a Gryffindor flag hanging off it.
I mean, true.
But I can name a few talent from the past. I'll name 5 talent from the past that were better than Mercedes Moné. Okay?
Trish Stratus.
Trish Stratus.
Fucking called it.
Lita.
Yep.
Caitlyn.
Yep. Jackie.
No, I wasn't going to say Jackie. Even though she's gone, Ashley Massaro.
Yes.
God, oh, man, she was gorgeous. I miss you, Ash. And the 5th one, who I think actually can wrestle a better match than Mercedes Moné, Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah. Steph was great on the mic, and she still is great on the mic.
Oh, she's great.
She couldn't wrestle to save her fucking life, though. Come on.
She was better than Mercedes Moné.
She throws a Thez press and a shit one at that. That's about it. That's a slap.
I don't care. It's Stephanie McMahon. Who cares? I mean, Stacey Keebler could wrestle better than Mercedes Moné. But all she could do was wheel kicks. Really crap slaps.
Michelle McCool, there you go.
Yep. Even Layla.
Yeah.
I miss Caitlyn, though. She was great. She was great. Her and AJ Lee.
Actually, fucking Melina.
Yeah.
And she came back recently, like as a once-off, I'm pretty sure.
Or even Serena Deeb.
Yeah? Yeah, sure.
Just not the fucking Bellas. Right, we've gotten so sidetracked here. Let's go back. Let's focus. Focus. For me, I think this was match of the night. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth freaking Rollins as the special guest referee. Seth was letting them go. At one point, you got shades of them trying to recreate the finish from SummerSlam 97.
Which was called on commentary too.
Yes. Punk lopped in the Anaconda Vice, but let go of it so he could get his damn bracelet back. That bracelet was a bit of MacGuffin, wasn't it? Drew hit the Claymore, but Punk kicked out after he got his bracelet back. And CM Punk went for the GTS, but noticed that Seth Rollins was wearing the damn bracelet, so he let go of it. And Punk hit the GTS on Seth Rollins. Punk argued... oh, no, that's right. Punk hit the GTS, but there was no ref. Then he noticed that Seth was wearing the bracelet when he went to hit the GTS again on Drew, but he turned around and hit the GTS on Seth Rollins instead. Drew hit a low blow and then a Claymore. Drew wins via pinfall.
Punk screwed Punk.
So, Shay, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the match?
Punk screwed Punk. He fucked himself so hard in this match.
Well, he was wearing Bret Hart's colours, so
I mean,
nice little tribute to Bret Hart. Punk screwed Punk. It is in Cleveland. If only it was in Montreal.
oh my god, that's a bit too on the fucking nose.
Survivor Series is in Montreal this year.
Oh no. I hope they don't, please.
Screw Punk over in Montreal. Yes.
The storyline behind this, it was a long, slow burn, but it paid off pretty well in this match.
Oh, it's only because of injuries.
Yeah, exactly. It was a unintentional slow burn, but hey. It was quite entertaining. Seth Rollins as a special guest referee was a fucking perfect choice for this match.
He was channeling his inner Shawn Michaels.
Absolutely. And looking from the back, he actually did look like Shawn Michaels. All he needs is a pair of arseless chaps, and there you go. He goes Shawn Michaels.
And a coke habit.
But no, it was very entertaining the way that he was just letting them go. And then he was getting involved. The bracelet thing shouldn't have been such an integral point. Like, yeah, nodded it a few times. Like, make it one little section in the match, but don't keep referring to it. That's even though that was kind of the reason why he lost. It's Drew McIntyre. They didn't need to do that. I was surprised they had Drew win that. I thought they were going to have Punk win it, but no, they're going to extend this a bit longer. And probably Punk is going to have a feud with Seth now, I would say. Again.
Well, at the end of it, Drew walked off with the bracelet.
Actually, with the bracelet, yeah, you're right. So probably it'll continue with Drew, and then it'll be Punk and someone else versus with Drew and Seth. I would say they're going to tag team that.
Triple threat.
Or triple threat. Nah, I think it'll be a tag team. I think Punk will get someone else to help him. Be 2-on-2. Pretty entertaining. Very, very nice in the way of wrestling. Like, Punk did look a bit gassed early, but that's because it's his first full match back, so it doesn't surprise me. Give him a little bit and he'll get warmed up, provided he doesn't injure himself fucking again. I give it a 3.5. It's pretty solid.
Chief?
This match was my other match in the top 3 for me. It was really nice change to see one of the superstars as a referee. There was a lot of chemistry, obviously a lot of history between these fellas, and you could see it throughout the entire match. It was really, really good. I understand what you were saying, Shay, about the bracelet, but I could understand why he acted the way he did. I know it was storyline, that's the way it was, but you don't screw with a dude's family or anyone's family for that matter. So getting into each other's head. How this goes in the future, I would be probably more inclined to think of it as a triple threat rather than a tag, but never say never about anything. We'll see how it all plays out. In terms of stars, I'd say this was between a 3.5 and a 4 for me. It was still really, really good, really solid. A lot of really good comedy in there from Seth trying to say that no, this is my match, this is my ring, I'm in charge, and he was trying to keep the Drew in check, which he did somewhat okay. That's all.
Okay. Well, I gave it a 4. It was a solid match. Told a solid story. I did like some of the stuff that Seth was doing, like when they were outside bashing each other over with stuff, and he's just inside tying up his shoelaces. Not giving a count or anything, but when it was in the ring and it was going too far, he pulled it up. Like he said to Drew, like, I know you want to beat him, but beat him the right way. Don't use a chair and expect me to call it, So that was a great point. The bracelet, it started off as a good MacGuffin, but then when it ended up on Seth Rollins' hand, and he purposely just went, I'm not going to do the GTS and finish off Drew McIntyre and then get the thing back off. He turned on Seth Rollins.
If I can just throw in there, Phil, as well, talking about that point, I thought that was actually quite the right thing to do for Seth. Like, pick it up, it's out of the way, it's not in the way, and you know where it is. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, it was, for me, it was the right thing, but then CM Punk goes stupid and goes, you've got my bracelet, you idiot, rah, 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 and shoots himself in the foot. It was one of those instances where you're like, why would you do that? Or just win the match, and then if he doesn't want to give you the bracelet, just GTS the fuck out of him too. You know, but it's wrestling telling the story. So overall, I thought that was probably the best match of the night. So I gave that a 4. Moving right along, we get to the second last match on the card, which was the World Heavyweight Championship between Judgment Day's Damian Priest and the King of the Ring, Gunther. Or Gunther, as they keep calling him. It's Gunther. It's called fucking German, idiot. I thought it was a big burly brawl. Gunther got busted open by exchanging chops with Damian Priest, and I think it was his wristband that had belt buckles and studs on it, and that probably carved him open. Finn Balor eventually showed up. Damian Priest hit the Razor's Edge, which would have made DDP and Kevin Nash happy up in the Legends box. And after he hit it, they acknowledged it, and then you hear, I think it might have been Pat McAfee went, hey, yo, which, I'm a big mark for those type of things, so I popped a little bit inside. Priest hits the South of Heaven on Gunther, and he was a bit close to the ropes, but Finn Balor put Gunther's leg on the ropes to break the pin. Gunther locked in the sleeper, but Damian Priest got out of it. And then rather than go after Gunther, Damian Priest grabbed Finn Balor by the throat, got dragged into the ring, copped a powerbomb, locked back in the sleeper, passed out, and Gunther is your new World Heavyweight Champion via submission.
Or knockout.
It's submission anyway. They just don't do the thing with the 3 arms where they lift it up and drop it anymore, which annoys me. I want to see that back. Okay. It always made Hulk Hogan look great. I thought it was a solid match. Felt like a big old hoss fight. Two big burly guys just slapping the meat.
That's a lot of meat in there, pal. There's a lot of beef.
But the Finn Balor betrayal was kind of telegraphed and predictable.
I mean, that's on purpose.
But I gave it a 3 out of 5. So, Shay, we'll hand it over to you. What are your thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts. I quite enjoyed it. It was a big, just 2 big burly meat sacks slapping each other. Like
slapping the meat.
Gunther is just hard-hitting, badass motherfucker. That's just Gunther in a nutshell. I am very happy they put the strap on him. Damian, it did wonders for. He grew a lot having that title on him. Made a name for himself, and he actually has a fucking purpose. That was his whole issue. He had the athleticism, he had the build for it, but he just had nothing. Now he actually has some people behind him, has a story behind him, has, people know who he is now. Now he can actually use that without a championship and actually go on further, which is good. Gunther, he needs to have a title on him just to hold his prestige. Like, he improves the prestige of any title he has on him. He did wonders for that Intercontinental title. No one could beat him. And then look what happened to Sammy. Sammy beat him, and that was one of the best matches on that card thanks to that. And just all of the work that he put in made Sammy look like $1 million. And that's what a heel's job is to do, is to make your babyface look like $1 million. Which is excellent. Him having the World Heavyweight title now on him is a good thing because anyone who challenges him for that now is going to be like scaling mountain. You know, it's going to make them look like the underdog, make them look like they have to scratch and claw to get back to that, which is a really good thing. And the match itself is just nice, just hard hitting, nice. It wasn't long, which that match needed to not be long. And the Finn Balor turn, there were a lot of nods in like Raw's previous of seeing him, you know, look shifty, and then him taking the card from Liv Morgan that Dom had on the table on one of the Raws back. I noticed that, and you know there were little nods towards it that you had an inkling, thinking when's it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And it did, and I'm glad it did. And then we see the fallout of it on Raw, which would be interesting to see. I'll give it a 4. It was quite good. It was one of my favourite matches of the night.
Chief?
All I thought about just then was how hard you had to slap a chicken in order to roast it. That's pretty much what this match was for me. The only thing that was missing on Gunter was a pair of leather tights over him with the way that those two lads were slapping each other. Seeing how Gunter was actually bleeding and wiping the blood off the camera when he was looking at himself in the big screen was like, what all this for a drop of blood or something like that. Definitely agree with Shay with what he was saying about improving the prestige. It almost seems as though you have to have Gunter in there as like the unbeatable guy in order to have the people work towards it. For the other pay-per-views that I've attended and watched, it was always Gunter with the IC, and he was always hard-hitting. Reminded me of that tough dude that you would never be able to beat at all in like a street fight or something like that, and you always bet money on him. Like, yep, this is the bloke that's always going to win. Very good, solid match. Don't know much about the what's the mob that Damian Priest and Finn Balor?
Judgment Day.
Yeah, Judgment Day. Don't know much about them or what those guys are actually doing, but if it's just going to break up another tag team, oh well, I guess that's just wrestling. For me, this was, I'd say it would be a top 3, but it is instead of having top 3, it is one of the top 4 matches of the card. I'd say it'd be about a 3.5 to 4 star match for me. It was pretty good, very good.
I think the thing is now with Judgment Day, because going into this, Judgment Day was Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Carlito, and Dominic. Now, it looks like Priest is out, Rhea Ripley's out, and Liv Morgan is in. Which means that Dominic Mysterio is probably the tallest member of that group. It's the land of the short people. And I'm sorry, but I think they've just sort of chucked their credibility of the group out. I mean, they've swapped out Rhea Ripley for Liv Morgan. I get that. It works. But I think it's going to be at the Clash in Berlin. I think it's going to be a mixed tag match between Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus Finn Balor and Liv Morgan.
Mm.
Or Dominic and Liv Morgan. You know, Carlito is just there for the sake of being there. JD and Finn Balor, I mean, they're great technical wrestlers, and they're the tag champs. But they don't have the big guy that Damian Priest was, that was like their powerhouse behind the group. If that makes any sense. Okay. But that's just me. It might just hurt the group just a little bit, unless they bring in Andrade, which that might actually work if they bring Andrade in.
Maybe.
Because Andrade's not doing a lot.
No, he's just been chilling, really.
Yeah, just chilling like a villain, waiting for his wife to come back. Right, moving on to the last match on the card, the WWE Championship match, contested under Bloodline rules. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, versus the fake Tribal Chief, Solo Sikoa of Bloodline Wolfpack. Everyone keeps saying, why do you call it Bloodline Wolfpack? Because it's like the NWO Wolfpack. It's not quite the NWO now, is it? Really? Yeah, that's what I said. So Bloodline, eventually, after about 10 minutes of half-decent wrestling, Bloodline Wolfpack jumps Cody Rhodes. And then eventually Kevin Owens comes out to help Cody Rhodes. And then Randy Orton comes on out while geeing up the crowd for him running down the aisle while his mates are getting the crap smacked out of him, which I was just like, what is he doing? But they started fighting off the Wolfpack. And then Cody hit the crossroads on Solo, but Solo kicked out. And Cody hit Solo with the stairs because he threw the stairs into the ring. Solo hit a spear. Cody hit 2 crossroads, but then got hit by Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf. Fatu puts Solo on Cody after he hits him with a few moves, but Cody kicks out. Fatu then puts Cody on top of the commentary table, splashes Cody through it from the top rope. Solo hits a top rope splash, but Cody kicks out. And then, in something we kind of knew was coming, Roman Reigns returns. Fuck you! And hits the Superman punch on Solo Sikoa. And then hits the spear on Solo Sikoa. And then leaves. Gets the entranceway. Looks at Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes hits Crossroads on Solo. Gets the pin. Gets the win. Retains the WWE Championship. Chief, you want to go first?
Falling on to the end of that, all the while pointing at his shirt, OTC. One true champ, I thought, but apparently it's...
Original Tribal Chief.
Yeah, that. Yeah, it was a pretty good match. Very good. A little bit of foreshadowing, which is really good storytelling in this sort of stuff. Definitely, I couldn't think of a different match that would have been the main event. This was pretty good. Good solid hits, good solid punches. Throwing a few extra dudes in there and have Roman Reigns finally appear after being absent apparently ever since WrestleMania.
So he's been gone about 4 months.
Yeah, 4 months. So, you know, where this goes from here, very interesting storyline-wise, opens up a lot of options, a lot of things. Who knows how this is going to play out? Maybe it's like like we were discussing before the podcast, probably two sets of bloodlines running, perhaps. Like you said, what was it? Bloodline Wolfpack and Bloodline NWO or something like that?
Bloodline Hollywood.
Yeah, Bloodline Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood. For me, this was probably a 3.5. Like, there was nothing bad about the match at all. It was all really solid. Channeling the bloke that would have been sitting in my spot tonight, he would have been... This would either be a 4.5 or 5-star match for him, I reckon.
Oh, it would have been a 6 out of 5 match.
6 out of 5. There you go. Just putting the good word in for you, mate.
The only thing that would have made it better for him is if Alexa Bliss was in it.
Yeah, true. That would have been through the roof to 10 or something like that. 10 out of 5.
It would have been 11 stars.
Yeah.
He would have busted Meltzer's scale easily.
Yeah. Good match, though. Good way to end the card. Yeah. Really good end to SummerSlam.
Shay.
This one was quite good, mostly for the story. When it comes to the actual wrestling itself, it wasn't the greatest in the world. And if you've seen one Cody match, unfortunately, you've seen pretty much all of them, which is a shame. But the thing that makes Cody's matches good are the way that he tells the story when he's wrestling, much like his father. That's where most of his talent comes from, is his emotion and the way he carries himself and the way that he reacts to things and gets people behind him that way. That's the one gripe I have with this match. Though the surprise with Roman there, a little bit predictable, but still cool to see. Seeing Arn right at the start as he was walking in was a cool, nice touch. Unexpected, but it was cool to see. And also, it's always good seeing Pharaoh, as long as he didn't walk him out to the ring itself, because he gets scared with the fireworks, which is a good thing that he's not. There was cool little moments like that. I quite enjoyed both Randy and KO coming out to help. And then Randy being Randy and pandering to the crowd as he's coming in. And then scaring him out. Though Jacob Fatu, when he came out and slammed Cody in the table, I don't know if that was legitimate where he hurt himself because he couldn't get up. He tried to get up and actually fell down and was sitting down like Vince was in the ring when he tore his quads. So I'm hoping that he didn't actually injure himself there because that'd be really bad for him because he's pretty hot right now. I'm hoping he keeps it that way because he's quite good in the ring, very impressive. I'll give it a 4. That's been a recurring theme throughout most of the night, but it was a pretty solid pay-per-view.
Yeah, I gave it a 4 as well. I think the best way to describe this match was formulaic. I think that qualifies the entire match, and it qualifies seemingly every Cody Rhodes match that he's had with Bloodline, where it's just been Bloodline rules, Bloodline invasion, a couple of friends show up and help him out, and then he gets the win in the end by scrambling and because everyone else has done the hard yards and hit the major damage. For me, if there was any changes that I would have made, I would have made that Jacob Fatu, if he had hit the splash on the table and was able to get up, and I'm not saying he was injured, maybe he was selling it or whatever, but if he had gotten back up and gotten in the ring, I would have actually liked it if DDP came down and hit the diamond cutter on him.
Or if Roman come in then, which I think that's what was meant to happen, which leads me to believe that he is actually injured. I think Fatu was meant to get in the ring, and Roman was meant to spear Fatu, and then Cody was meant to Crossroads solo.
But I don't mind the fact that he took out the fake tribal chief.
I mean, that works as well, which that could have been the story all along, or it could have been just him ad-libbing it, which either way worked. That's a good thing.
But if DDP had hit the diamond cutter, because Cody already uses the Cody cutter,
yeah.
So it would have been a nice little nod to how much respect DDP had for his old man.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, they had 4 WCW guys up in the Legends suite.
I was going to say DDP was there.
The DDP, Kevin Nash, and the Steiner brothers were there. And Arn Anderson was out back. It was great to see Arn Anderson back in WWE. Because he's that old school voice of reason for backstage stuff. So
just don't fuck with him. He's got a Glock.
Yeah. If someone pulls you over and tries to steal your car, you pull out the Glock and you shoot them. Great promo, Arn. That's great. It's up there with Kevin Nash and his impression of you. I'm going to give you my spot. Not my dog spot, not this spot, not a bro spot, my spot. It was formulaic, yeah, but it was really... you know what it actually reminded me of was when Triple H was in charge of NXT. It was always a match, and then something would show up at the end of an NXT takeover show. You know, like whether it's someone showing up right at the end after the match to say, "Hi, I'm here, I want to crack at your belt." Or whatever. It felt like it was Triple H booking.
But that's the thing, though. If it ain't broke, don't change your formula.
No, that's right. And something that WWE has struggled since they bought WCW was just doing the basics right.
Yep.
So if this is basic, they're doing it right. And I'm happy for it.
Absolutely.
So I gave it a 4. Right. So now we get to the fun part where we got to give our cheese grade a score out of 5 for the overall pay-per-view premium live event. Whatever you want to call it. So I'll start with you, Shay, because you're right there. So I'll start with you.
I think most people can guess what my score for this is going to be, considering I've been giving him out all tonight.
A 4?
You're correct.
Oh, yowie, wowie.
It was a pretty solid pay-per-view. It wasn't the best I've ever seen, but still pretty good.
Chief?
Yeah, I was 4 for this one. Definitely really good, entertaining pay-per-view. Might be something that I would ever consider watching again. If you talk about formula and all the rest of it, if this is the way that it is going forward, then I'll happily watch more of these pay-per-views again and again and again. It was despite the fact of my personal circumstances. Though that was these matches are so much better than all the stuff that I used to watch back when I first got into wrestling.
Yeah.
So much different, so improved. It just seems like it was like it used to be in all those retro pay-per-views that you and the boys used to get us over for from the late 90s, mid-late 90s, early 2000s and all the rest of it, when they were really pristine, short to the punch matches. Everything to the point. Yeah, there was a bit of crass in there. Yeah, there was a bit of swearing and stuff like that, changing and all the rest of it. If this is it, keep doing this.
Yeah. I gave it 3.5. I think the big major blot on it was the WWE Women's title match. Like, that dragged the score down a bit for me. If it wasn't for that match, it would have been a 4 across the board.
With Nia Slax.
And the other thing that I really enjoy about WWE pay-per-views now is that they don't seem to go longer than 4 hours.
Yeah, that's really good.
You know, like WrestleMania at one stage, until they went for 2 nights, it was going for 7 hours. 7 hours. Like, Jesus Christ.
By the end of us covering it, we're fucked.
Yeah, and then we'd have to do one of these straight after. You know, one of these podcasts. It's just fucked. And I think that's something that AEW really needs to look at, is the length of their pay-per-views. Like, if you're going to have 12 matches on a card, give them 15 minutes. Give them 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Young Bucks, if you're going to do Super Kick Party, you get 10 minutes of Super Kick Party. You know?
Or do it 2 days.
You know, or do it over 2 days. Like an event like Forbidden Door or All In.
Give them 2 days, absolutely.
Give them 2 days.
Forbidden Door especially, because there's so many different people coming across from both events. If you're going to double the amount of superstars you have to choose from, you're going to have to double the amount of matches there is, double the amount of time you give them.
Yeah. Right. So that is WWE Summerslam for 2024. It's been a while since we've done one of these, eh?
We missed out Money in the Bank for the first time, which is a shame.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been... Because I got out of the band and then I rejoined the band. Because the guy who took over from me quit and joined another band. So I've kind of been handcuffed back into it.
That's right.
And a few other changes have happened too, so... You know, it's... yeah.
No, I watched it.
Life happens, you know. But hopefully we can do these more regularly. Hopefully we'll get the other guys back on board and be able to do these more often. Or try some new things like fantasy drafts. We were talking about that. That was an awesome idea.
If any of you guys have any recommendations, feel free to put them in the comments.
Put them in the comments. And this will probably also go up on Spotify as well, because we've got a Spotify channel.
Branching out.
Yes.
Woo.
And all the proceeds go to me, so that you could all go and get fucked.
Oh.
All 10 cents.
Fuck.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks to you boys for showing up and watching SummerSlam 2024. Hope everyone enjoyed the podcast. Until the next time we speak to you, it is goodbye.